Welcome to a wonderful, wonderful lesson about privacy and efficiency in our today technological environment. First, before I say anything, just remember the big picture, that business is here to make society better without harming it. And also that the legal environment is trying to keep a balance between the individual right under the Constitution and the good of society at large. And this is why we have statutory law to protect the public at large. And the court has to have the responsibility to keep a balance between them, because we still have the Constitution as the primary source of law. So here we are changing as a society. We are entering into a technological environment. And before we go into the cases and show you the ethical and the legal and how the law is trying to enforce ethical behavior and how the ethical behavior is reflecting the prevailing culture value, it's very, very interesting, and you see how more and more the law is reflecting society at large. First of all, legal protection. We have a right of privacy under the Constitution. Remember, the Constitution is to protect the individual against the government. Therefore, government cannot intrude in our privacy. Then we have torts, and torts is really a civil law which is between two individuals. It has nothing to do with in government. And again, between two individuals, we have a right of privacy, but it's not absolute. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. People should not be going, or another person should not be going around intentionally causing me mental distress. Lifestyle control. This is very, very interesting. You're going to see in this chapter that we have freedom of speech, but not freedom of conduct. And that means when our speech is starting to become a conduct, you know that we're going to have a statute that will stop that. Very, very interesting, because that line is very, very fine. And I think at the beginning of the course, I mentioned that we can burn the flag as a symbol that we do not like what's going on with the government or our system. However, if we start doing that once a week or once a year, we're going to have a statute that's going to make it a crime. And that is lifestyle control. Another protection that's very important is the Fourth Amendment search. Again, when you work for a public employer, the Constitution kicks in. When you're working for a private company, then the statute is the one that protects the individual against the company or against another person. And the Fourth Amendment search is very, very interesting, because already as a society, we are adjusted to go for drug testing as long as the term and condition of employment. However, originally, search is against the government to take any blood or any urine unless they have reasonable suspicion that we are about to commit a crime or taking drugs. And that's going to be another interesting case that we're going to study. Electronic surveillance. More and more now, we're getting accustomed to have monitors. And you know, with technology, your boss or the company's monitor, you go to a store, you monitor. Everywhere we go, we have been monitored, and we are getting accustomed to that. However, you see how technology is taking a lot of our privacy away because of that. And of course, the consumer online privacy. That's another issue that we have a lot of problem. We always said identity, people stealing our cards, people stealing our checkbooks, people stealing our properties, but on the net, it's much easier to do it, and causes billions of dollars to the government. Therefore, there is no privacy in a way. And the reason really that I want you to understand or keep in your mind is that what does society expect? If 55% of the society does not expect privacy, then we will not have privacy. If 55% of society expect privacy in certain area, then we will have privacy. And that's what you're going to see in this chapter that we're going to learn. And the first case that I find very interesting, that is becoming a landmark case really, it was in 1996, Smith versus Pillsbury Company. Smith worked for the company, and the company installed an electronic email, and I guess all of us pretty much now works with email system. And that was to promote internal communication between its employees. And I know that where I work too, networking, email, Even when I want to tell the secretary something, I email her. I don't get up and go to her cubbyhole. Nothing. Everything is email. So you have no problem in that. However, in this case, Pillsbury told his police that the email transmission were confidential and that it would not be intercepted or used by Pillsbury against employees as ground for termination. So here is something that the employees felt that they had privacy. So Smith exchanged emails with the supervisor, which were in fact intercepted by Pillsbury management. 3 months later, Smith was terminated for transmitting what is deemed to be inappropriate and unprofessional comments. Or here is something where the company, as much as we had the privacy, they felt that even within the privacy, that was not acceptable behavior of communication within the company. And the emails contained threats to kill the backstabbing bastard in discussion from management. I mean, apparently, you know, they were venting probably to each other about what's going on in the company. And these are some of the wording that they had on record because of him emailing to the supervisor. Now remember, they had a policy here. They were put on notice that nothing will intercept or even use the email for terminating, and here they are terminated. So how come does the judge in this case says that Smith lost reasonable expectation of privacy? This is very interesting because in this case, Smith lost. No matter what the company said, no matter what, the judge says there was no privacy in the email. If you remember and look back, I mean, I don't remember seeing it, but we do have something like that in the court to this day. Years ago, the phone booth, when you called a person, you used to go in the phone book or on the phone booth, and it was doors and windows, and you really expected privacy. And of course, if you go to any airport today, and of course in New Jersey, Newark Liberty Airport, the phone does not have a boot anymore. Therefore, there is a reasonable expectation of no privacy. Many times the court will look at the surrounding. And this is where, in this case, I found that where the court was even more not expecting privacy. And what the judge says is, presumably the judge means that he lost his privacy by telling another employee something in the first place, and by placing his remarks on a system which by its technology nature made the information accessible to so many people at Pillsbury. What the judge is really saying here, if you want privacy, then you don't go and call somebody and tell them, please keep this a secret, I have something to tell you. This is, in a way, it's encouraging for us to be a lonely society, because if I'm going to call somebody and I'm asking them to keep it a secret, I'm expecting the person to keep it a secret. And according to this case, the judge says, don't expect privacy, because if you really wanted the privacy, you don't go and call or put it on the web or email your friend. You keep it to yourself. That is privacy. Is there a difference between a password protect a message sent on email and a memo sealed and marked private sent through company mail? This is something that I really want you to think about it, because I know of cases where even your voicemail can be intercepted for the good of society or for the good of the employment or for safety, because the employer is liable if somebody gets hurt and emotionally disturbed, or they cannot hostile environment, all the other things that we're going to learn further on. But is there a difference? In other words, is there a distinction between electronic messages and handwritten messages? Is technology driving the decision? If so, where does that leave us as technology advances? If email and electronic messages are different from a message that is handwritten, then is technology changing us as a society when it comes to privacy and confidentiality and trust? And this is where I find it very interesting, because I would like to discuss on the discussion board your legal and ethical perspective on that, and how difficult it is when technology is making a decision for us how we should behave. Thank you.